Robert, give the camera some words of wisdom. What's your words of wisdom for the week?
Words of wisdom: enjoy life and enjoy your family.
That's boring.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
But we're gonna change these floors up. So I knocked this out over 2 days. I learned a lot. This is my first set of floors. Did all the research on them. Obviously, as wood gets wet, moisture changes, it expands, contracts. So I left an inch, well, half an inch, right here where the baseboard's gonna go. So the boards can expand all direction. And then also the underlayment that I did, so you're going hardwood flooring, which is engineered, to wood plywood decking. You don't have to use glue. So you can use glue, or you can use glue only, or nails and glue. So I did nails and glue. But it turns out the glue I bought was an incredible product. It's 200 bucks of glue just for this. And so it's too expensive to do the entire house. But it's a urethane. It's elastic, so it allows the wood to move. It's also a waterproofer. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the hybrid method. I'm gonna do glue and then nails. But yeah, so. All right, so here's a little bit of drama. So this past week, we hired a plumber. He does 1 day of work. I pay him for it, and I pay him for the next day's work because it's just more convenient. And then he doesn't show up. I'm pretty sure he stole my trailer, my tools, and all the plumbing parts that were on site. I had to come and do the work myself, and then when I came out and started inspecting the plumber's work, guess what? It was all wrong. He didn't even put glue in some of the joints, so I had to retest everything and make sure everything was good. But all this work is mine, and it's now correct, and so yeah, it was quite the drama moment. The plumber had the original pipe that ran across over to where the island's going for the kitchen sink. Well, it was so high, it was only 1 inch underneath the concrete, which is a no-go. So I rerouted the pipes over to the lower area, and now I've got 6 inches of cover over the pipes with the concrete. Continuing, the other part of this foundation is Robert and the guys. They've done a real nice job. So this is all a suspended slab, right? So we've got retaining walls underneath it. This is the wine room here, and that is the movie room. And this is the stairs that'll go down into it. But this is suspended concrete. Our I-beam is structural support. But what we did is, as always, is we did a double cage number 5, and the concrete will be a foot thick. So we have effectively 3 inches of concrete over this, then 6 inches, and then 3 inches, and that gives us a 1 foot thick concrete slab that goes on out. And we put the structural I-beam in just to make it stronger. And I think, look at my calculations, it'll support itself on its own. But that beam, the I-beam steel that we put in will hold up, I think, 56,000 pounds. And all the stuff's online, you can look it up. You look up the beam, the flange, the width, and you can find out what its structural capacity is. And calculating this concrete, this entire slab of concrete out here is, I think it's gonna be 60,000 pounds. And that's what the I-beam will be holding. But like I said, it'll support itself, which is kind of cool. This plastic is what they call 6 mil plastic, so it's a certain thickness, and it's a vapor barrier. So the ground naturally will want to wick moisture up, and concrete is porous. And so by pouring the concrete on top of this stops moisture coming up to the concrete and putting moisture up into the house. And so that's why we use plastic as a vapor barrier. Then you look at the structural beams of the house. So these beams are between 2 and 3 feet thick. And this is structural steel, right? So rebar, it's it's number 5 rebar, 5/8 inch thick, and each one of these represents a structural beam of the house. And you can kind of see it's in a grid pattern. Pretty simple, right? Then we're going to come on. That's what gives the strength to the foundation. Then we put anywhere from 6 to 8 inches of concrete on top, and they're going to be working on the matte steel, which will be number 4 rebar, and that rebar will be on a 16-inch grid. And it'll come through, and that just kind of holds the top together and tries to reduce the surface, any surface cracking. All concrete cracks, but this kind of helps it hold together.
Yeah. If I cut it though, if you could go inside and kind of hold it,
Yeah.
I could probably crawl up there and just nail it in.
Okay. Well, don't fall, buddy. That'll hurt. I thought it was white oak, but I looked it up because I was trying to figure out what type of wood this was, and it's a very hard, dense wood, and it's hickory. But I like how light it is, how the white color, and it accents the oak. I'm sorry, that's pine. The shellac pine, and it gives a nice accent piece to it. And then we're gonna come along with dark trim, and I think it's gonna be pretty cool. So here's what Big Mike just did. So I gotta call the spray foam guys to see where they're at. But to maximize our spray foam, right, we're gonna spray the walls. And so Big Mike is putting this OSB piece on the outside, so we can spray the foam in this wall. Because originally this was open, so we can load the drywall through. So it's so much easier than carrying drywall up the stairs, right? So here's what I gotta do to get ready for spray foam. Down in this corner here is where the water heaters are. So I could run hot water, cold water up through here and over into the attic space. And then we have to run all the exterior plumbing. So the electricians came and got their stuff done on the exterior, but we have got to finish up the plumbing. And here's what I did yesterday. So I added this really convoluted plumbing. So I got a sink here. It drains underneath because this is all cantilevered, right? So I got plumbing that's going to run underneath. The plumbing runs up and over. This really crazy angle I had to figure out because it's like 14 degrees and they don't make plumbing parts for 14 degrees. So I had to come up with a 60, a 22, a 45, and a 45. And that math somehow twisted and worked out that we have an exact 14 degree angle that goes up and over. But I had to do this weird plumbing piece up and over, down, over to catch the shower. So in a tight confined space, but because they're going to spray foam all along here. And so now every place that they're going to spray foam is now done. So Big Mike's finished that window up. I got the hard plumbing done. I got to run some PEX plumbing. And then over here, we got to frame out one more wall while Mike's here for the window. And then we're kind of golden, actually. So be ready for spray foam. In the garage, I got to run electric car wire. And so I was talking to you, Mike, about a 6'3" wire. You can hold, it's like 55 amps for electric car. That 50-foot run of wire was 320 bucks. So copper is like gold now. If you can hand it up, I can lift it up. The ladder looks like it sucks. All right, really good. I don't know if I got this very good. And nothing bad ever happened. If you'd be on the ground and help push it up, let me get off of my knees and I can maybe lift it up. Okay, you lift up over your head. There you go. I got the bottom. Cool. See, I got my foot assist here. I got it, Mike. Okay. Yep. So I got my foot under here. If you get lined up, I can slide it down. There it goes. Come and slide it down a little bit.
Take your foot.
Okay. There you go.
A little bit more.
Yeah, a little bit more. Right there, it's a little bit. Okay. Yeah, hang on. I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. Oh, ladder. I was like, I need a ladder, and there's one right behind me. Awesome. Nothing a little brute force won't fix. See, Big Mike and I have been talking about the use of screws or nails, and Mike's a perfectionist. He likes to do everything just perfect. And I'm like, there's a time for that, but there's also time for quantity. And I'm like, nail gun and just shoot as many nails as you can, as fast as you can. Don't use that ladder, man, that's scary. I'm not even on it, I'm scared for you. What's up, buddy?
How's it going?
Are you ready to do some copper running?
Yes, sir.
You ready to break out your best copper running skills? Okay, dude, you're gonna have a challenge. Let me show you.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
You're like, great! See, I didn't tell you before you came out here.
Yeah.
So, these guys are coming in to put the copper line in before they spread the spray foam. It's right here. This whole thing is cantilevered. Right there, you see it?
Oh, yeah.
So the air conditioning unit is here, so we come down the middle of the house. And I'll show you where we gotta do it. It's very interesting. So we gotta come in here and we gotta penetrate right there. Now we gotta go find an internal wall that lines up on. So I have to get our tape measure and I'll kind of show you. You may end up popping over here and then we're just kind of cutting over and down.
So you want it inside the wall?
Yeah, so what we're gonna do is my guy over here will have to cut the wall here for you.
Okay.
We'll come over here and we'll cut the OSB.
Okay.
We'll pull it off and then you just run the wire.
Wire right next to, right.
Pop it on down. One more thing getting done. Okay guys, so here is the, we put 2 sheets of ply up there for you.
Okay.
So AC unit sits right here. So the copper run will cut right through here. Coming through the little attic space. Drill a little hole right through there. And we're gonna cut through here. And we can either come down through here or, but that's, you see that hole right there is what I was telling you about.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so if we came down right here, that means that we're gonna be popping out, because the other AC unit's right here. I was thinking maybe we can come down through here. Right through the middle. Right through there. Or, so all the beams run like this, long ways. We could get it up and over, and we could come down, but it's a longer run, down and over. So you got a hole right there, and keep coming through here, through here. This little beam right here, this 2x8, it's not doing a whole lot. I mean, this is structural.
Okay.
Once we get to here, it's now supported on this. This little piece, they continued it. So right there, we can drill a big hole right through there.
Okay. Come out.
And around through this.
Yep.
Bingo.
And then come down.
Okay, but you see this window right here? Okay, we have to get on the plans. If you were to grab a string line, and run it on the corner of this window, and do it at the same line, same angles, the same string line would come across, and somewhere the window will go like this. Okay?
Okay, so you're gonna run this angle down?
Yeah, if you were to grab a 2x4 board and just draw a line across those boards, there'll be a window that sits here at that angle.
Okay.
And then you do the same thing on the bottom here. See here on the plans. Yeah. Actually, it's in the wrong spot big time. Check it out. Okay, so there's existing windows. You see the kind of a, I don't know what to call that, trapezoid. But if you were to continue it down, it hits right there, and it goes flat, right? And that's the only indications we really have of that window, so we kind of wait. Digging, rock work, laying floors, now welding. Let's see how this goes. Someday in the future, when I'm independently wealthy, I'm gonna hang a glass chandelier from the ceiling. And so before they're covered up with structural wood, I gotta put a box, and I gotta make a bracket to be able to hold a couple hundred pounds. And so my torch is out of fluid, so I'm welding some washers onto a plate with a chain so I can connect a chandelier to it. So we can have a 300-pound, 400-pound piece of glass, and so it's not that much weight, so I'm making a bracket to screw to the wood to hang from it. So this is some pretty nasty welding, to be honest. But I got this little piece of chain. I'll have to clean this off a little bit. Might come back and weld it, but the idea is that these things are on here strong enough so that I can at least weld it, but I was able to weld that chain. I think what I have is the temperature's too high on the welder, the amperage. But I got some pretty decent welds on a couple of these, and so when I screw this thing down to the wood, it should be able to hold. And this is on here solid. Yeah, and this is galvanized, and so when you weld galvanized, the coating on the galvanized is toxic. So that's why we had all this wind blowing through here, so I wouldn't breathe any of those toxic fumes off of the washer. So never weld galvanized unless you're in a well-ventilated area. It's still steaming. Yeah, so no one will ever see this. But like I said, structurally it's strong. It's only going to be able to hold 400 pounds. But I'll be able to connect a chandelier chain to that. Right here I'll be able to put 4 or 5 screws into the wood, and it'll be able to sit there and hang there, and it'll hold. No problem. It's ugly, but I'll be able to get the screws in there and hang it with electrical. So the important thing is make sure this weld's good. But man, it's on here. It's on here pretty darn tight. I can't even move any of it, so it'll work. See that wire right there is the chandelier wire. I'm making a big assumption that's in the center. Drive it forward just a little bit. Almost there. Yeah, and then all of a sudden the lift goes away and I'm, help, help. You only hold on for a little while.
I wonder how long I'd last.
I don't know. As soon as we finish the Sanchez foundation, we're coming over here and doing driveways. And then driveways are in. Rich will be done with plaster here in 2 months. We're going to start chasing them up the bottom with doors and trim. And then doors, trim, and floors. And then cabinets, countertops, appliances, and crank up the AC. We'll be ready for spring break. Mike, can I use you for some help? Yeah. And we're going to put this to the ceiling.
Yeah, hold on.
All the way to the wall? Yeah. What's up, buddy?
What do you want to do? Because it's Wednesday to deliver.
Well, that seems like our best option.
Okay, let's do that then.
Okay. Right there.
You need to have the forks of the Bobcat, because they have forks.
We got forklift. Yeah. It's like 8.5. No! My new glasses. Well, that broke. Sorry, Rich. Man. So what it's gonna do is it's gonna mount like this. So when the chandelier comes, I'll have something to hang on to. Better yet, I'm even gonna put the chain inside the box. So it'll be covered until I get the chandelier. I'll be able to grab a carabiner clip and continue the chain. And it'll be able to hang on this and it'll be structurally ready to go. That's the plan at the moment. Looks like center, so those two lights, you got two light bulbs there. To me, center is right here. Sometimes you gotta go just close enough. Don't do this at home, kids.
Mike eats those sardines, and it's so bad, you can smell it. No wonder that cat comes running.
Okay, so we were talking earlier about how crazy plumbing is right now, and I put an advertisement out, 60 to 100 bucks an hour, like come out Saturdays for plumbers. 100 bucks an hour, that is what is that? 800 bucks a day, 800 bucks a day times, normal work week. Man, it works out to like, I don't know, is that 150,000 bucks a year? The plumbers are laughing at me, so I'm doing a lot of plumbing myself. What we did here, this big mess of plumbing, is we've got the normal sewer line that we see here, which is in the gray. That's just the gray pipe that comes from the house over the septic tank. The other two lines are the return lines for the septic. So it's a pressure line from the septic down to the field, and then a return line back for whatever doesn't go through the field. This is, I put a control box right here, a junction box effectively. And I've got one, this is a line that goes from my the propane pad over there, along with the generator. It's an extra line that if I wanted to run any sort of fluid or gas or wires down to the dock, I can snake a line through that 2-inch. This is for the generator power. So I'll cut these off here and here, put a pad, and I'll be able to run from the main panel in the house through this pipe over to the generator pad. And so that's all underground. This is the dock electric. This runs all the way down to the dock, and this will power the dock, the lifts and the lights and all that. So then I've got, obviously, so dock, generator. These right here are gonna go, two are gonna go to the street, and two of them will go to the generator pad, because a lot of times it's gotta communicate with the generator to turn on and off via Ethernet. But I'll also have one of these, probably an extra tube, I'll be able to run a wire. I'm also gonna run a wire down and out, and that's gonna be a wire that runs along the entire drive on the way down that puts exterior lighting along the walkway. And so what I'm doing here is I'm putting a big cabinet, stuff in, stuff out, and so I've got stuff going to the street, generator pad, and dock, and septic, all in this big mess right here. And so this right here would have been an extreme amount of money to have a plumber come do this. So boom, there's that plumbing. What we got going here is this little pipe right here. We're gonna run 1-inch PEX pipe through it. That's the main water for the house, and it's gonna be running a conduit all the way down to the street, and running a conduit so we can re-pull it. So this PEX pipe, 1-inch diameter, if it ever has problems or leaks, we'll be able to re-pull it through there. I also have the gas line that's gonna come through here from the propane pad, and the propane will come through here, and here's our propane connection. They got concrete that'll be level with the driveway. It kind of starts stepping down towards the lake. And it's gonna be kind of cool because the big rocks right here, the concrete will come down and it'll kind of go around the rock, kind of using the natural, materials slope around. But all this rock that they threw in here, we're gonna salvage this rock, and we're gonna use it to do a dry stack on the back side of the pool. And maybe if we have enough of it, we may even do it inside the house. It looks cool. But it turns out Pablo and our new guy Alexander, they're masons. So we're gonna see if they can do some dry stack for us, and they may start that tomorrow. Right here, this pipe right here, this goes up underneath the washing machine, and it goes under the stairs, and that's where I've got my water block, and the water heater. So if it ever leaks, it'll flow outside through the drains instead of flooding the house. And this pipe is gonna run on down. So right here, this pipe is the French drain that runs underneath behind the foundation to wick any water away from it. So I'm gonna connect that 2-inch drain pipe with my French drain and just rat it out. Whew. So they got the steps to come down. This will be a concrete pad. I'm also gonna run a propane line right here. I'm doing all this tomorrow. And as I do that, the guys will come in and put the steel on top, and we're gonna pour this on Thursday. Might put a little barbecue pit right here and a little shade for it. The deck of the house will come right through. We'll have some steps down, and then it'll go down to the fire pit, and we'll also have access to the equipment room underneath the pool. So we got concrete pour here on Thursday. I gotta get all the plumbing and piping done. A water pipe through here. That's the septic side. This is the water side, so I'm keeping everything separate. You don't cross septic and water. And I'm also gonna run a water line from the lake. You can actually put a pump down there, and you can irrigate your grass if you want. You can pump lake water up and irrigate your grass. So like I said, water side, septic side, and everything's gotta run through here underneath the sidewalk. Okay, let's go take a look at what we're gonna do with the natural rock. And as you can see, this natural rock is everywhere. I'm gonna have the guys pick it up, and we're gonna use it to do some masonry work. There'll be more steps. All this awesome stone right here, which obviously I just stacked. We're gonna try to get a dry stack look. So right now, obviously it's precariously stacked, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a minimum mortar line, and we're gonna put the mortar in there and stick it to the wall. But we're gonna do as little, like when we stack these things, we're gonna try to keep it tight, keep the rocks nice and tight so you're not seeing much of the mortar. And so it'll be a nice dry stack. And so what I'm thinking is, I want to do this entire wall like that, keep it kind of natural. And then if it looks awesome, the waterfall that goes over the pool, if I can get some thin stuff, you know, like a piece like this, you know, it's obviously thin, and just kind of keep it as thin as I can, as not to take up water volume, and just keep gluing them on, the entire waterfall will be done like that. And then if it looks incredibly awesome, we'll do this on the side on the arches. But I mean, we've got tons of this granitic, you know, schisty sandstone that's pretty much water impervious. It's going to be a great addition to this pool, and I'm thinking it's going to look really cool, because the original plan was to do limestone on it and just do a white rock because it's cheap and available. But I was like, you know, not that it clashes here, but I mean, we've got gobs of material sitting here, so why not use it? All right, dude, you want to go up the hard way?